For the love of money. All that and more now on Graph's Grievances. For all the details laid out in the 37-count federal criminal indictment against former President Donald Trump, one question goes unanswered. Why did Trump take hundreds of classified documents from the White House and fight so hard to keep them when the government came knocking? And while answering this question is not necessary to prosecuting the case against Trump, understanding why he took thousands of presidential records and refused to return them reminds us of the person he really is as he runs for president again. Since entering public life over 50 years ago, Trump has always been driven by one thing: greed. In fact, Trump has acknowledged so himself. At a campaign rally in January of 2016, Trump said, quote, "My whole life I've been greedy, greedy, greedy. I've grabbed all the money I could get. I'm so greedy." It is this ceaseless, selfish desire for wealth that led Trump to start the now defunct Trump University. Trump didn't care about educating Americans about real estate. All he cared about was enriching himself at the expense of desperate people. And in 2018, a federal judge ruled as such, finalizing a $25 million settlement between Trump and his former students at Trump University. Greed was also at the center of Trump's stint as a reality TV show host. The New York businessman did not host The Apprentice for 14 seasons on NBC to find his next mentor and tutor entrepreneurs. No, Trump hosted The Apprentice because, according to the New York Times, he made over $400 million from the show. By the time Trump was unceremoniously leaving the White House in January 2020, he was in desperate need of cash. According to Bloomberg, his business operations were saddled with about $1 billion in debt, and Trump was personally on the hook for about half of this. Urban real estate, the core of Trump's wealth, was decimated by his terrible handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. And his once luxury brand was in shambles after his 2 impeachments and his failed coup attempt ending in the January 6th attack on the US Capitol. Plus, Trump and his business face civil and criminal fraud investigations in New York that could permanently put him out of business. So the already greedy Trump and now cash-strapped Trump was under a lot of financial pressure as he planned to depart 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He needed a way to make money fast. And there were all of these top-secret classified documents that virtually only he, as president, had exclusive access to. These documents describing nuclear intelligence, operations against U.S. forces, and sensitive communications with foreign leaders. No doubt they would be a treasure trove in the hands of America's allies and adversaries alike. Maybe Trump could take some of these documents with him as he left the White House, and no one would notice. He could then show them off to his friends, as he allegedly did, and even try to sell them to the highest bidder. And should such a move prove too risky, Trump could try to sell the documents back to the US government. Speaking to Fox News in March, Trump said, quote, "I have the right to take stuff. Do you know that they ended up paying Richard Nixon, I think, $18 million for what he had?" And while it is true that the federal government paid $18 million to the estate of former President Richard Nixon for his presidential papers and tape recordings, that all happened before the passage of the Presidential Records Act in 1978. The law makes clear that all presidential records, starting with those of President Ronald Reagan, are the property of the United States. And when a president leaves office, the archivist of the US must take custody of those records. So despite what Trump might have thought, he was never going to get paid by the American taxpayer for the documents he illegally took when he left office. And now it appears Trump's greed and obfuscation of the law is going to cost him mightily in the court of law. Thanks for watching Graph's Grievances. Let me know what you think, and please subscribe.